Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Marion County Hardball tonight. Tonight, we're going to be interviewing Ruric Brandt, and I'm in front of the camera. Before we do, I want to remind everyone that we invite you to, if you appreciate what we're doing, if you like the show, go to the top of Marion County Messenger's page and buy us a cup of coffee. There's a link there. You can make a donation, and we will appreciate that. The donations go to the Marion County Messenger and to me, not to Ruric. Ruric is a volunteer commentator and doesn't get any kind of pay from Marion County Messenger at all. He just does this for fun. We also want to throw out that anyone that is running for political office that would like to be on Marion County Hardball, regardless of party affiliation, is invited. Just reach out to myself or Ruric, and we'll get you on. That's for Marion County or any of the surrounding counties if you want to come on. And with that, let me introduce Ruric Brandt. Ruric is running for County Commission. What seat are you running for, Ruric?
District 1, Seat A.
District 1.
Re-election.
Re-election, that's correct. You're a sitting commissioner. We're going to kind of do like a hybrid interview tonight. Typically we do a very easy interview for a candidate's first appearance on here. This is Ruric's first appearance as an interviewee. So, Ruric, why don't you tell us about yourself? Tell us about your campaign.
Well, I ran, 3.5 years ago, and the reason I originally ran was I kind of felt like our local government wasn't treating our constituents like customers.
Okay.
And I wanted to do something to maybe change that environment a little bit, not change who we are as Marion County citizens, but try to do something where the government itself realizes that without our constituents, we don't have a government. And if we treat each constituent like a customer and you treat them wonderfully, they'll come back for more.
Yes.
So I decided to run then, and it was a pretty good fight to win. I think I won by 3 whopping votes.
Wow.
But I was grateful for the 3 because you only need 1.
That's all that matters.
And I think in some instances now I totally understand being a commissioner is a lot harder than I ever thought it would be.
Yeah.
Because no matter what you do, you're not going to please everyone. But at the same time, if you do and represent your people that is in your district, regardless of whether or not it's a popular thing to do or not, at the end of the day, I think you've done your job and you've done it well. So I've tried to do that in the last 3.5 years, and it's been a wonderful experience. It's been a lot of ups and downs, but as far as my background is concerned, I have no background that prepared me for this. Nothing.
Okay.
So
tell us about your background, because you do have a background.
Yeah, I'm unqualified for basically anything, but I'm adaptable. I can adapt to situations. I was very much so in the telecom space. Started a business many years ago, and was very fortunate that we landed a nice contract, and with that contract, going back to the customer deal, we've kept our customer base for 30 years, and it's never changed.
Wow. So
I know the value of taking care of your constituents. You know, when they need something, you go to bat for them. And I think there's a couple commissioners that are on the commission today that will go to bat for their people, but I think a majority of them, they'll do what's politically correct for them.
Okay.
That's just how I feel. That's my opinion about it. So,
well, let's dig in a little deeper on the whole customer service aspect, because I don't know that I've ever heard a politician describe it as customer service. So, what about some times that you have and I don't expect you to name names, but sometimes that you've provided customer service for a constituent?
Well, one thing that the jump-off community people had come to me some time ago, and they were really upset about the possibility of a sand plant going in. Mm-hmm. And I was trying to find online what type of laws that whatever we could do as commissioners that we could opt into to at least help them. Mm-hmm. And actually, in talking to the county attorney, he had told me, hey, there is a law that we can opt into, and it's called the special powers. So when I started looking at it, I was like, well, it's not a perfect law by no means of the imagination. Minus zoning, it's really a fix, a patch at best, but at least it's something.
Right.
So, we went through that whole process of helping them in the jump-off area, and they've stalled it now. I think to this moment it's still stalled, but I know the Supreme Court of Tennessee just struck that law down, or actually made it so Tinsley won his case. But I know they're trying to work on another law to fix the existing Powers Act. But another time had an issue with someone that I think got dismissed from a job that it wasn't correct what they did. Mm-hmm. And they had presented that information to me, and I looked at all of it. And again, it wasn't something that I did to make kudos, because obviously it doesn't make you popular. Mm-hmm. when you go against the establishment, especially the establishment here. But in reality, I think it was, I feel real good about any time that someone brings something to me, to be able to get behind them and help them, as long as they're right, as long as the cause is correct. That's the one good feeling of this job you can get, is because you can help people. And another issue came up, which, again, I knew the criticism would come from all over God's creation. And it was a fellow that said, hey, I've worked for TVA for 42 years. I've built substations. I've been the manager of substations. I've built the transmission lines up to 500,000 kV line, which that's unheard of power to me. Yep. And he said, would you come down here and look at something? So I went down there to South Pitt, to the school, and he showed me those lines there. And he showed me the bridge, and his passion about it, it told me that, hey, this guy is concerned about it. He's not just concerned, he's really worried. And it's in his wheelhouse. Mm-hmm. That's his bailiwick. Mm-hmm. And we brought two other electricians, because I wanted to make sure to come out and take a look at it. And both those two other individuals that are both licensed electricians said, dangerous. Yeah. It's dangerous. So knowing that this fellow was getting stonewalled or gaslighted for the last 2 years, mm-hmm. I said, all right, I'll put a letter together. And again, I knew it wasn't going to be popular, but I think that's sometimes the risk you have to take in being a commissioner. Yeah. So, and I would do it again and again and again. Nothing would change as far as that's concerned. So, but anyhow, good.
So, one of our write-in questions, it has to do with this. You're one of two commissioners that actually puts things on the agenda for their constituents. when they get struck from the agenda, how is that fair to your constituents?
It's, I mean, I hate to say what's fair and what's not fair. It's politics. Is it right that the voices of the people I represent are basically quelled or scratched off the agenda? No, but I'll take some of the responsibility for not having the relationship perhaps with the rest of the commission. Because I realize that some people may accuse me of stonewalling myself or being an obstructionist.
That's where I was going next. You know, you're usually, and this kind of plays off that question, if there are dissenting votes, it's usually you and one other commissioner.
That's right. That's right.
And some folks might call you a contrarian. Less kind people might call you an obstructionist. So explain how you feel about that and where you come down on that.
Well, if I don't agree with something and they want to call me an obstructionist, they should, because I'm not going to go along to get along. Your job as a commissioner, you have a fiduciary responsibility. To me, that's your number one responsibility, is to spend the taxpayers' money the best and for the value, the best way you can. And just to make it, you know, a lot of people or a lot of commissioners will, to curry favor with the administration, they'll go along to get along. And maybe that's a good tactic. I just don't find it to be a good tactic. I won't sell my vote. I won't do that at all. And if I see something wrong, you know, something that I'm going to bring up, and again, you do take a lot of criticism for doing that. You'll take a lot of attacks for doing it. But again, your job is to represent the people that it's absolutely a privilege for them to have faith in you and vote for you to go into office. And then when you take that oath and you listen to the oath, it just really means something to me. And at that point, I'm not so much worried about the noise of, if you do this, the mayor will be mad at you. It's like, that's okay. You know, that's okay. He can be mad. The one that I care about is my constituents. So obstructionist, I'm more of a realist. I'm not a conformist. I will not go along to get along. But again, I'm going to do what I think is right.
Okay, that's a good answer. We do have another write-in question. Previous county commissioners worked very hard to obtain the old Chattanooga State Building. Efforts by wonderful people in the community wanted to utilize this building for recreational activities for our current youth. We were told by Mayor Jackson the building could not be used because it was used as storage for records from Chattanooga State. My question is, did Mayor Jackson sell this building instead of helping our youth? If it was sold, was the money invested in something for our youth?
Well, in all fairness, that's really a question for Mayor Jackson. Could it have been used for recreational purposes? Possibly. But I don't think it was a good location for it. But I do remember that a group had come in and had asked to use that building for a rec center. And there was, you know, for some reason or another, I know it had to do with the records for voting. They needed a place to put them because they went from electronic to paper. But then the next thing I do remember is an offer had come in, an appraisal was done, and then an offer came in, and I guess they wanted the money more than anything, and get the building back on the tax rolls.
Okay.
So, but do we need youth stuff? Absolutely. If the area has enough children to mandate the expense and the cost, it would make all the sense in the world to put stuff in. But just to put one in for the heck of it, where there's not a lot of kids, doesn't make a lot of sense either.
Okay. Sometimes I feel like there are, and I don't know anything about this rec center in particular, but sometimes I feel like money's thrown at the idea of a rec center without a lot of planning.
Yeah, I agree.
So we have a question from Joy Blevins, and he wanted a geographic description of your district. Where exactly do you represent? What people?
You run up Stagecoach Road, and if you're going towards Mont Eagle, it's everything on the left-hand side all the way up, Jackson Point, jump off area. Then you scoot over to, I think it's called Taylor Drive, where actually right across the street is where that Tinsley sand plant is going. Right. There's a drive right there. That's where it stops, and that's on 156. Mm-hmm. And then you come all the way down 156, and you pick up in South Pittsburgh. You go over to Orme. You have New Hope. And, of course, all of South Pittsburgh. Okay. So it's a fairly good-sized district. Okay. I mean, because you have Sweden's Cove, too. You go all the way to the end of it. In the very beginning of Sweden's Cove, to the right side, where Suzanne Liquors, where that plane, on the right side of the road is actually District 2. And then it goes all the way up to where there's an Airstream RV park right on the river, pretty much stops there, and then it goes back into being District 1. Okay. So it's a good size. Yeah, good size district. Let's talk a moment about our educational system here in Marion County. So one of the questions that I always ask is, what can we do? We talked a little bit about the Tinsley sand plant. What can we do to bring industry to this county that is tech-based as opposed to extraction-based, which would pay better money for the employees and all the way around better. And it always seems to come back to education. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So tell us your thoughts on how we improve the educational system in Marion County and get more technology training available for our students. Well, I really think as a commissioner, you need to stay in your lane. Yes. There's a reason we have a school board. Mm-hmm. And the school board is the one, if I wanted to get involved with the way the direction of the schools and such, then I would run for school board. But as far as monies are concerned, when they need monies and such for a project, that's when the commission obviously votes to support something that the school board wants to do or Dr. Griffith wants to do. Right. So I know that the question, I've heard it before where other candidates as commissioners are like, well, I want to do this with the schools and we're going to improve the schools. And of course the question goes through my head is, how? Yeah. We have to stay in our lane, just like the executive branch needs to stay in their lane. Mm-hmm. And the legislative arm, we stay where we're supposed to be, and that's where the checks and balances works properly when we understand government and how it's supposed to work. Okay, so I'm going to ask a question here. Do you think I don't think that a lot of people have a real clear idea of what the lanes are. Well, we know that and my analogies will probably irritate some, but I'm pretty used to getting people irritated. The county mayor does not vote on anything when it comes to monies. He does a lot of appointing. I mean, and he definitely is like I know the term that's used is he's the CFO, right? But when it comes to the money side, the legislative arm of government, your commissioners, we are the ones that decide what monies get spent and how much.
Okay.
What has happened, unfortunately, because of the way the system is set up, the executive branch will appoint commissioners to committees. Well, each one of those committee assignments are $75. Now, keep in mind, an appointment requires a confirmation. We didn't used to, until I came on board, we didn't confirm the appointments made. It was just what the mayor decided it, that you were going on that committee. So we did change, which I give the mayor credit for that when it was brought to the county attorney's attention, he said, okay, we have to do that. We have to allow the legislative arm of government to exercise their right to confirm these things. But what I think has happened, and this is just my opinion, when you have commissioners that want to curry favor to be on specific committee assignments that meet every month. Well, if you're a commissioner and you're on 8 committees and they meet every month, that's $75 per committee meeting, plus the $150 you get for the commission meeting itself.
Okay.
So you can see, I think evidence of what I'm saying is go through the list of the commissioners and what committees they're on and get yourself an idea of, I get it now. That guy's compliant, that gal's compliant because they're going to be on a number of committees. And those that are outcast, they won't be on any committees, or their committees will be ones that never meet.
Let me follow your advice. What committees are you on?
We haven't met anything. I think I'm on animal control. I think we're on the trash, I forgot not sanitation, but the what do you call a thing where you take your garbage?
Convenience center?
No, it's not it's the main.
Oh, the landfill?
Yeah, the landfill.
Yeah.
And I think I'm on the education board too.
Okay.
So they don't, like I said, this year I haven't been on, we haven't had.
They haven't met?
Haven't met.
So you haven't gotten paid for committee duty this year?
No.
Okay.
Not exactly.
So that brings me to another question. Why don't you get paid by Mayor or Paul Schaefer?
Well, Paul gets
paid. Okay.
Yeah, Paul gets paid.
Okay.
Well, and I've tried never to make it I didn't take this job for money.
Right.
And what I had asked, and we didn't go deep into my background, but yeah, I am also involved with cybersecurity. I've dealt with IBM for I don't know how many, probably 15 years. So it's kind of in my wheelhouse.
Right.
And I had asked, I said, hey, Mayor, I'd like to receive a check. I know you pay Billy Gallagher by check, and I know that a check is still legal tender. So I would ask for that, and he informed me at that point, well, thank you for your service, because you're not going to get paid if you don't give me your bank account information. So, okay, I mean, if that's the direction you want to go, that's okay. That's his prerogative to do that. But again, it's more of like I said, I have to take responsibility for my relationship with the mayor. I think personally he's a good person, I'm sure. as a mayor, we just disagree.
So, have you ever been compensated at all for serving as commissioner of Marion County?
No.
Okay. Okay.
No. I haven't taken one penny from Marion County.
Okay. That's a pretty big statement. So,
well, some people will say, if you elect me, I'm going to donate my money, which I think that's fantastic. I love that. I guess I've just been forced to actually, my words, it's really happened.
It's really happened.
But it isn't, if you think about what Mayor Jackson and the ramifications of him donating his money like that other mayoral candidate has offered. So Mayor Jackson's been there 3 4-year terms. So he makes $110,000 plus another $10,000 stipend for bringing business here. So he's made, in August, he would have made, just in salary alone, $1.4 million. That's $1.4 million, not including all the bennies, retirement, all this. I mean, it's a well-paying, it's not a bad job.
Yeah.
It's not a bad job.
Not a bad job.
But I think you really, when you take a job like this, it's got to be because you love your community. And you want to serve. I don't think you have to do it for free.
Right.
I'm not suggesting that at all. But if your only motivation is to take a job because, I'm in it for the money, we don't need you.
Right.
And we don't want you.
Right. Right.
So
I would agree with that. Okay. Well, would you like to go ahead and make a closing statement?
Well, I think those in 1st District that knew who I am, I've treated everyone in our district as customers. If 1 or 2 of them I've irritated, I haven't meant to do that, but at the same time, I've been here to represent and fight for you, and that I have done. And I ask for your vote. And remember, it's Ruric Brandt, District 1, Seat A. And thank you for your time.
And thank you for joining the Marion County Messenger. I would remind you that at 7 o'clock, the interview with Michael Ray Taylor of the Nashville Scene will drop on MarionCountyMessenger.com on Facebook. So click back over at 7 o'clock and watch that interview. And as always, if you enjoyed the show and you're enjoying the interviews, please consider making a donation to the Marion County Messenger, and we will see you next week.